I think a lot of people avoid garden planning in general because once they create a plan, they feel like they're locked in and it's super rigid. In reality, even a loose plan gives you a lot more clarity and makes gardening feel creative and free flowing throughout the process, a lot more, not less. My name is Amy, and over at prettypurpledoor.com, I help home gardeners design landscapes that are uniquely you. And today I just want to talk about why planning matters so much. Most home gardeners jump into planting without even creating any sort of plan, and honestly, this is just a really easy way to waste your money. What I see a lot of times is impulse buying plants, not knowing where you're going to put them, and ultimately having to move them later or just having those plants die because they're not in the right conditions. That whole idea of, oh, I'll just move it later is totally understandable. I impulse buy plants myself and I teach this for a living, so I know it's really difficult. Gardening can be emotional, it can be visual, and it's really hard to stop impulse buying those plants. But really all this does is lead to that redoing your beds every year cycle where things just aren't working out and you have to keep starting over from scratch every single spring. If there's any of you out there that are doing that, leave me a note in the comments and let me know. I have been there. But ultimately, without a plan, a lot of times your plants are going to need to be moved, they're going to need to be replaced, and it's just going to cause a lot of headaches in the future. One of the biggest pros of planning ahead of time is that it's going to help you spot problems before they cost you actual money. I think that some problems aren't super obvious when we're just standing in our garden beds with a pile of plants that we just impulse bought and we're trying to stick them in here and there. It's really hard to tell when you're standing in the space. Is the spacing between the plants going to work? Do you have the right exposure for those plants? Is the scale right compared to everything else on your property? And these are the types of things that planning a little bit ahead of time will help you catch before you waste money on those extra plants. Because the truth is that a lot of these problems with spacing and balance and scale and all the things that I like to talk about, they don't show up right away. They're not going to show up when you put those plants in the ground. They're going to show up a year or two later when you're looking at your space and it's completely overcrowded or it's filled with weeds because you didn't plant enough. So just creating that plan and making sure that you're getting the spacing right, you have enough plants to fill your space properly, is going to save you so much time and so much headache 2 years down the road when you're having to basically start from scratch again. I always say that paper is way cheaper than all of these plants that we love to buy. And basically what planning does is it moves these decisions for you that you will be dealing with 1 or 2 years down the road when you impulse planted and just stuck things wherever they fit. It's going to move those decisions way earlier in the process. So ultimately it's going to save you time, it's going to save you money, and it's going to give you a better result in the future so that 1 or 2 years down the road, you're not redoing your garden, you're actually out there enjoying it and tweaking it and making it more unique to you. Another thing that a lot of people don't think about is that restraints and planning and having just a framework in mind actually makes your mind a lot more creative. I use this example in one of my free classes, but it's basically trying to plan a birthday party for a little boy. When you're given a task like that, your brain is just like, that's too vague. I don't know what this boy likes. I don't know how old he is. I don't know what color he likes. I don't know how big to make the party. I don't know where to have the party. Like your brain just starts like going crazy and really wondering how to narrow down all of the options. So what I like to say is instead of planning a party for a little boy, what if you're planning a party for a little boy and his favorite color is red and you want to keep it to 10 of his friends and just close family and he really likes pin the tail on the donkey. Suddenly your brain, if you're thinking about this, even if you close your eyes and you think about that scenario, you're going to see that your brain is immediately visualizing what that party will look like. You might have picked out like wooden picnic tables or red banners hanging on the wall or things like that. You're starting to visualize that. So your garden really works in a similar way to that, where if you start to give yourself restraints, it actually makes you more creative and it makes the creative process a lot easier to figure out because you're like, okay, I'm going to use purple and I want this whimsical feel, or I like Alice in Wonderland. And then you start to get more and more ideas, and even researching and going online, going on Pinterest, trying to get ideas, trying to figure out the vibe of your space. It becomes so much easier when you have a few little criteria to work from. So Don't think that planning is rigid. Don't think that it's restricting. It's actually the easiest way as a creative person and as someone who has done creativity as a job on demand. You have to trick your brain into coming up with new ideas all the time. So that's one of my biggest hacks when I'm really stuck, is to give myself more restraints and work inside of those restraints. And it will really help you to create a better end result for your garden. And the third thing that I think a lot of people overlook when planning is that even a really simple sketch is going to go so far for you. It doesn't have to be this perfect thing. You don't have to learn how to use the iPad or Procreate like I do. You can just take a sheet of paper and you can start drawing circles. I have another video on this channel about bubble drawing and how simple that can be. But even just really loose sketches on paper to kind of define little areas can help you see things that you might not see in your brain. When you get it down on paper, you can look at it, you can visualize it, you can even ask a friend to look at this. What are you seeing? How does this look? Do you see any problems with it? And a friend might even be able to tell you, oh yeah, well you have to park or you have to walk to your parking space and this is blocking that whole thing, so maybe we need to move that. And these are the types of problems that I find all the time as I'm doing bubble drawings and things like that. Maybe the first 3 or 4 times that I do a bubble drawing, it's like complete crap and like doesn't look good at all. I usually by the 5th or 6th time I start to like get a feel for the space and really work it out. So I work very, very quickly. If you watch that video, you'll see how quickly I actually work on bubble drawings. And just that really loose, really free sketching can really help you a lot. You don't have to be an artist to do this. If you can draw a circle or sort of kind of blobby little circles on your page, you're going to be totally fine with that. So something like just a really simple loose sketch, a mood board just to create vibes and sort of gather inspiration photos for how you want the space to feel, how you want it to look. These things are going to help you so much when you're planning your space before you even get out there, before you choose a single plant. Just take a little bit of time to do that planning. These drawings and these mood boards and things like that, they help you to start to see relationships, especially the drawing. It'll help you see, is that patio too big? Is it too small? Is my garden bed deep enough? Is it long enough? Do I have enough space for all of these plants that I love? Do I have enough space for walkways? How am I going to get around the area? So I highly, highly recommend always doing some kind of sketch and then kind of adding a mood board to that to get the vibes of the space right for yourself. And once you have that little sheet of paper with your cool mood board on it and your really loose sketch, it's going to give you so much more confidence and help you with that second guessing every decision that you may be doing right now, where you just have that pile of plants and you're like, I don't know if it goes here or should I put it over here or where does this go? And you're panicking because you only have a few hours to get this done over the weekend and you got to get them in the ground before they dry out. Like all of those things that make us panic and make gardening not fun anymore, those all go away with just that simple sketch or that simple mood board or both. So this is why planning matters. And like I said, planning can be a really fun and a really creative process for you to go through before you even start putting plants in the ground. Now is a really great time to do that because, well, at least where I live right now, it's freezing cold and there's snow on the ground. So this is a really fun activity that you can start right now. If you want to jump into something a little bit more structured, I do have a garden style mood board workshop. I'm going to leave a link to that in the description below, where I'll take you step by step through determining the mood and the vibes and how to even put that all together on one simple sheet of paper for yourself so that you have kind of a North Star guiding you as you create your garden this year. I'll see you over in the next video.